okay, I'm going to talk about the ego backlash, right? I'm going to give a perfect example that happened a couple of days ago, or a few days ago, with a family member. And a family member had the experience of the most profound love she'd ever experienced in this lifetime, all right? And it completely, as if it subsumed everything she ever knew before that experience of love. It was the biggest experience she's ever had in her life. Okay, so about 60 seconds, maybe less, after that experience, she noticed a really bad, stinging, burning pain in her right leg. Okay, let's collapse this. Mm-hmm. So she calls a doctor afterwards, bad move, and says, what's happening? And the doctor then says, well, you've got shingles. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. Yeah. But we've since talked about this, and she recollects that opening to love, that opening to union, and then the ego completely contracting, mm-hmm. snapping back, mm-hmm. and the outcome being the illusion of sickness. Yeah. So I just want to say that it happens so quickly, we're not conscious of it usually, right?
Yes.
We're not frozen?
You just froze for a second, but we're okay. Oh, we got it.
All right.
We're going to get through this lesson. So that's beautiful. So, but I don't want anybody here. I remember my dad telling me this. Like, I don't want to excel too far, because the higher you go, the worse the problems get. And I'm like, wow. Okay. So as we experience the truth, and love and union, right? The ego will attempt to regain lost ground, and yet it still remains an illusion. You don't have
powerless.
To. That's right. You don't have to be ragdolled around by an illusion. It's in that there's not two powers.
Thank you.
Okay, we're not waffling between like a pendulum between two powers. One is real, one isn't. So you can claim your authority. My inheritance is a perfect divine love. The truth of my being is that I and the Father are one. Mm-hmm. And that has never changed, nor can it change. So I cannot be a battering ram for some false belief. Okay, that's really important.
Thanks for affirming that.
Yes.
That is so important. There are not two powers.
No.
Only one.
That's right. It's only our belief. It's only our belief that seems to give it temporary power. Mm-hmm. We consent to it. So therefore we look at an image, an illusion, and it seems to be doing something to us, and only because of our consent. That's the power of our mind. There's a suggestion, we believe in it. When you disbelieve in it, it falls. No matter what it calls itself. We agree to disagree with it, because now God, what are you doing? What's the truth here? And that's the one that's got power, because it is the truth. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, here he goes. Who but yourself evaluates a threat, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat, which has been judged as real? There you go. All this cannot be done unconsciously. But afterwards, your plan requires that you must forget you made it. So it seems to be external to your own intent, a happening beyond your state of mind, an outcome with a real effect on you instead of one effected by yourself. Okay? Boy, when you tell somebody that this is, that they created, that they're seeming to cause this, that they've asked for it, how offended will they get if they're not on this path, right? You dare not even say it because they're going to look at you like they're absolutely crazy, but it's the absolute truth. This was an intentional decision to not know ourselves and to bring everything along that comes in that gap. It is this quick forgetting on the part you play in making your reality, which makes defenses seem to be beyond your own control. But what you have forgot can be remembered, given willingness to reconsider the decision, which is doubly shielded by oblivion. Your not remembering is but the sign that this decision still remains in force as far as your desires are concerned. So the lack of our accountability, the lack of our willingness to be accountable is commensurate with our desire to keep the story running.
Yeah, well said. Thank you.
So mistake this, what we think we've done, for fact. Defenses must make facts unrecognizable. They aim at doing this, and this they seem to do. Every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all of their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole which is not there. It is this process which imposes threat and not whatever outcome may result. So the issue is this desire for separation, to make separate parts of the whole. That's where the correction needs to be, not in the way that it's playing out. It's that first thought of that separation could possibly occur. When parts are wrested from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, mythical me, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole. Successful in effect, and never to be seen as whole again. And yet you have forgotten that they stand but for your own decision of what should be real to take the place of what is real. It really is an attack on the whole to think that you are mythical me, and it takes a great deal of humility to recognize what this desire is declaring. It's an act of war on the sonship, on union, on God. Fortunately, God cannot be threatened, but in the dream, that's really the outcome of our desire. A mind that thinks that it is apart from the whole is a diseased mind. It is a mind not at ease, not at rest, in a constant state of fight or flight. And everything that diseased mind projects is sick. Whether we can look at it and say, oh, it's not sick now, it seems okay. Any projection from a diseased mind is fearful, and the end of that projection is destruction.
Yeah, I think it's a psychotherapy pamphlet that came from Jesus after the Course was dictated. There's a line there that all sickness is mental illness.
Yeah.
That backs up what you've just explained there.
Yeah. Oh, the poor mind. I mean, it really, to take its place, to come back and rest in God, to allow it to become whole is health. Really feeling and seeing that now. So these parts, when wrested from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole, successful in effect and never to be seen as whole again. And yet you have forgotten that they stand but for your own decision of what should be real to take the place of what is real. Sickness is a decision. There he says it again. It is not a thing that happens to you quite unsought, which makes you weak and brings you suffering. It is a choice you make, a plan you lay. When for an instant truth arises in your own deluded mind and all your world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now are you sick, that truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. Wow. Love is such a threat. Union is such a threat. God is such a threat that we would order the body to become sick and age and decay and die to keep the truth out of our mind. I choose death before I choose God and union. That's what we've done. Okay, stay with us, guys. I know this is really harsh, but it gets better. The lesson gets better. He always takes us down and then brings us up.
Thank God he brings us up again.